real on. Hello. Mr. Satan. Hello. Hello, Mr. Satan. So yeah, again, running through the same as what I do most weeks. Although last week was on a Saturday, I can't do it this Saturday, so doing it today on the questions that were brought up through the week. Want to eat this corpses on. Firstly, it's probably a good timing to do it. It was better on a Saturday, but there seems to be more people on here. If anyone's got any other questions while we're going through it, then fire them across, just type them in the box. But I've got like 4 or 5 to go through that have been asked through the week. Must remember to save the video. So the first question that I got asked throughout the week was, do you have to count calories in order to lose weight? Or there was no real context behind it, but is it a must that you must count calories? Which is, it's not necessarily something you have to do, but it has to be some form of tracking. There has to be some kind of system that you use in order to gauge where you're at, in order to get the results you want. So whereas I think calorie tracking is just one form of a system, there are many other ways. Like if you look at some of the most popular diets out there, Weight Watchers or Slimming World, they're all just systems that employ some form of calorie restriction, but they're just systems that they make it fairly easy for people to stick to. If you can start to understand calories, then it is in essence just a way that you can fit that around what you do already, rather than doing it what they prescribe you to do. So that it will work longer. Thanks, Nick. Bad end. So yeah, hope that made sense. The other one, if I eat carbohydrates late at night, will they be mainly stored as fat? No, straight up no. Total calories over the 24-hour period, but then over that period, over a longer time, is what's going to cause fat gain or weight gain. So by pushing the majority, or if you're eating carbs before bed, really, what you are going to promote is some hopefully better sleep, because carbohydrates will have an effect where it releases some form of melatonin, which is what's going to help us sleep better in the evenings. So hopefully it should improve your sleep, if anything. If you get better sleep, we can perform better in the gym. So that's a good thing. If you eat the carbohydrates, people think that because you're going to sleep, you're not moving, and that they're just going to be stored as fat, but it's complete nonsense. So no, eat your carbs, especially before bed. Also, if you struggle with snacking late in the evening, it's a good idea to push the majority of carbohydrates or the majority of your food to the evening, so then you have more food to eat, so you don't snack as much in the evening. And in the day, most people are busy anyway, so not really as food focused. That's it. How much should you go by the scale weight was another question. Again, it's just one variable, so it's one thing to monitor. It shouldn't be the be all and end all. So scale weight, I think, is important, and it's a good tool to use, but it should be used in conjunction with pictures, measurements, body fat measurements. Just going on a scale weight and weighing yourself randomly throughout a period of time isn't going to work. You're going to get so many fluctuations in the weight. What you should be doing is weighing yourself every day at the same time, roughly in the same situation, with next to minimal clothing on, and then you should record those and then use the averages. What this does is obviously gives you an average and you can see the fluctuations, but also it removes the stigma of getting on the scales, which I think is a big problem that people have. People have a fear of the scales, whereas if you're getting on there every day when you wake up, you're literally getting on there looking at it, and that acts as a trigger to then think, right, what have I got to do today in order to get where I want to go in terms of goals. So yeah, use the scale as a tool, but don't think it's the only thing we can use. We should be used in conjunction with everything else. So yeah, I hope that answered that one. Hey Lewis. The other question I had was, what is the best form of cardio to do for fat loss? HIIT or slower? I take it you mean like steady state stuff, like just walking on a treadmill or something like that. So there's no difference. I think the only difference between the two forms of those cardio types are how well they fit in with what you're doing already. So if you're doing a lot of heavy resistance training, intense training, if you're performing like high intensity work as well, then all you're doing is you're not getting as much recovery time, and you may be promoting a kind of environment where you could come across injuries and things. So I'd say high intensity work, if you're going to do it, keep it away from any other training that you're doing, if it is true high intensity work, that is. Low steady state stuff, I mean, the studies that have been done into the two show that there's no difference between either or. In terms of calorie output, that afterburn effect which people talk about is not really a thing, because you're still talking total calories expended over the day, so that's not really a thing to worry about. Just because you'll burn more slightly after, you might then not move as much for the rest of the day because you've used some kind of higher intensity. So there's all that to kind of work into it. So I'd go with what is more feasible to you. If you have got time issues, so you're short on time, then high intensity work is probably a bit of a winner, but then obviously take that into consideration with your recovery for whatever else you're doing. Or low steady state stuff is always a good one if you've got the time to get out there and maybe just go for walks. The biggest one really, just get your energy expenditure up daily anyway. So rather than worrying too much on whether I'm doing HIIT or whether I'm doing this or I don't know, whatever else it is, just try and get your expenditure up generally, and then I think you'd be surprised that the amount of cardio you have to do is minimal anyway. We don't really need to use cardio. I mean, you can diet pretty much just as well without adding in any cardio. So you see all these absolute bellends on Instagram doing like hours and hours of fasted cardio. There's no fucking point, and it makes me get angry about it. But I'm not going to get angry today because it's Friday. So yeah, there's no real difference, but just do which one that suits you. And the only other question I had was just around tempo in lifting. So how important is tempo when you're lifting? This is something that I kind of believed a little while ago that was the key. You know, you should be lifting with like 4-second eccentrics, pauses, and you should be detailing tempo on every single lift, which tempo is great, and again it should be used as a tool for progression. It can be used as a tool to increase intensity within lifts, but is it as big as what we used to think it was? No, I don't think so. I think as long as you're lifting and you're lowering the weight under control, so you're using the muscle and not gravity to move the weight, then you're doing what you need to do. So whether you slow that down extra, that's just a form of increasing some of the intensity. So tempo, yes, use it, but just move the weight under control. Hey Mala, is that how you say your name? So yeah, if you're if you get too caught up on tempo, you probably got bigger things to worry about. So yeah, just lift under control and use the muscle in order to lower the weight and obviously move the weight up. But doing like 10-second negatives and things, I think there's probably a place somewhere in someone's training, but the majority of people don't need to worry about that. that really they should be looking at progressive overload over time and increasing the volume, total volume over time, in order to get results. But that's it. That's pretty much it. That's all the questions on there. If anyone's got any others while you're here, feel free to quickly do them, send them across. I've got a session this morning in about 10 minutes. But other than that, enjoy. I'm going to be filming today, part of the second part of the off-season vlog. It's going to be filmed today and a little bit of tomorrow's. The first one is up on YouTube's now. Go and check it out. Let me know what you think. I just thought it'd be interesting to do like an off-season one. You see a lot of people doing prep vlogs, and yeah, let me know if you like it or not. That's it. I think if no one's got any questions, I'm going to shoot off, and definitely going to save this one this time. I think just press that button there. Cool. Anyway, cheers guys.